I didn't just expose my wife's affair, her lover tried to break me with violence, so I stayed silent, sharpened my plan, and now I'm about to shatter their lives piece by piece while everyone watches them burn. I run a precision manufacturing shop. We make specialized components for aerospace companies, parts where a thousandth of an inch matters. That mindset saved me when I found out about my wife Simone and her lover Roderick. It started with a sync tablet she forgot on the kitchen counter. A message notification popped up while I was having coffee. Just Roderick's name and a preview. Can't wait to see that look on his face when we. I could have ignored it. Should have, maybe. But precision means checking tolerances, and something felt off spec. The messages went back 8 months. Not just an affair, a complete parallel life where I was the punchline. They called me the machinist like it was comedy. Mocked how I spent 12-hour days keeping my shop alive during supply chain chaos. Simone shared details about my mother's death, how I cried at her funeral. Roderick responded with laughing emojis. But the real revelation came deeper in their correspondence. Simone worked as a pharmaceutical compliance auditor. Roderick ran commercial real estate deals. She was feeding him information about which pharma companies were facing violations, which facilities would need emergency relocations. He was pre-positioning properties, making millions on insider knowledge. They had a 5-year plan. Simone would gradually poison my business relationships, claim I was unstable after my mother's death, document concerning behavior. Roderick would approach my aerospace clients through his connections, offer them better facilities. Once my contracts dried up, they'd force a bankruptcy, buy my equipment at auction prices. Roderick already had buyers lined up for my specialized CNC machines. I screenshot everything. Every message, every photo, every transaction they referenced. Stored it across multiple encrypted drives. Then I put the tablet back exactly where I found it, at the same angle, with the same smudge pattern on the screen. That night, Simone came home talking about a rough audit, how exhausting her job was. I made her favorite dinner. We watched a movie. She fell asleep on my shoulder, and I sat there calculating tolerances, not in metal, but in revenge. 2 weeks later, Roderick showed up at my shop. It was after hours. I was alone, running maintenance on a lathe. He walked in through the loading dock I hadn't locked yet, bourbon on his breath, knuckles already white. We need to talk about Simone. I kept my hands on the lathe. Okay. You're going to make this easy. Start forgetting things. Missing deadlines. Give your clients reasons to leave. I've got better facilities ready for them. No. The first punch caught my ribs. I let it. The second split my lip. I let that too. My security cameras captured every angle in 4K, the assault, the threats, him kicking over a $30,000 measurement gauge, throwing precision tools across the floor. You're nothing, he said, standing over me. A glorified mechanic playing businessman. Simone deserves better. Your clients deserve better. Fight back and I'll bury you in legal fees before I take everything anyway. I stayed down. Spit blood on my own shop floor. Let him walk out thinking he'd broken me. After he left, I sat in my office reviewing the footage. 8 cameras, perfect audio, his face clear in every frame. I backed it up to 3 locations, then cleaned my blood off the concrete and went back to work. The gauge he kicked was destroyed, $15,000 in real damage once calibration was factored in. But I didn't file insurance. Didn't call police. Didn't even bandage my face until I got home. Simone gasped when she saw me, played the concerned wife perfectly. Said I should report the random assault. I told her I didn't get a good look at the guy. That night, she texted Roderick while lying next to me. I watched her thumb move across the screen in the dark, typing, he bought it completely. Update 2, the architecture. March became April. My face healed. The shop ran normal hours. I delivered every contract on time, to spec, while building something else entirely. First, I mapped their entire network. Roderick's real estate firm, his investors, his biggest clients. Simone's position in the state pharmaceutical board hierarchy, her audit schedule, which companies she'd flagged. I found their hidden accounts, the ones they used for their hotel meets, their planning dinners, the abortion she had in January that wasn't mine. They got sloppy in their confidence. Roderick's firm had him managing portfolios for 3 major pharma companies. Simone was auditing their competitors. The pattern was obvious once mapped. She'd find violations, sometimes real, sometimes exaggerated. Companies would need emergency relocations. Roderick's properties would mysteriously become available at premium rates. I started documenting in manufacturing terms. Every crime became a deviation from specification. Every lie got logged as a failed quality check. I built spreadsheets that cross-referenced her audit dates with his property acquisitions, showing statistical impossibilities in his success rate. Meanwhile, I played the wounded husband perfectly. Started drinking more. Missed a few industry social events. Let people see me disheveled at suppliers. Simone reported this to Roderick as progress. They moved their timeline up. What they didn't know, every drunk appearance was calculated. I was stone sober, building sympathetic witnesses. The supplier who saw me stumbling? He also heard me talk about suspicious pressure to sell my shop. The industry event I missed? I was photographing Roderick and Simone at a hotel 40 miles away. I found their weakness in May. Roderick had leveraged everything for a massive property development, a pharmaceutical campus that would only make sense if 3 specific companies needed to relocate simultaneously. Simone was scheduled to audit all 3 in June. The setup was obvious. She'd find major violations, force relocations, and Roderick would clear $20 million in lease agreements. But Roderick had pre-spent the profits. Bought a ridiculous house, 2 cars, was in contract for a yacht. If the deal fell through, he'd face bankruptcy within weeks. I hired a forensic accountant through a shell company. Not the kind who testifies in divorces, the kind who used to work for the DOJ. Gave him everything. He built a RICO-worthy case file in 2 weeks. By end of May, I had 200 pages of financial evidence, 50 hours of audio recordings, the assault video from March, documentation of 17 insider trading violations, proof of falsified audit reports, their complete 5-year conspiracy against my business. I also had something else. Control of the narrative. Update 3, Calculated Destruction. June arrived with Simone's critical audit scheduled. She left that morning in her best suit, talking about routine inspections. I wished her luck. At 9 a.m., I initiated Phase 1. The anonymous package arrived at the State Board of Pharmacy while Simone was mid-audit. It contained a pattern analysis showing statistical anomalies in her audit findings, how her violation discoveries correlated with specific real estate transactions. Not enough to prove guilt, just enough to mandate an immediate internal review. They pulled her from the field that afternoon. She came home confused, saying there was some administrative mix-up. I made concerned sounds while texting my forensic accountant from a burner phone. Phase 2 launched that evening. Roderick's brokerage firm received a similar package, but this one included transaction records showing impossible timing patterns. How did he know to buy specific properties weeks before pharma companies knew they'd need to relocate? The firm opened an investigation immediately. They froze his pending deals, including the big pharmaceutical campus. Phase 3 was personal. I sent Roderick's wife, oh yes, he was married with 2 kids, a simple manila envelope. No letter. Just photos of him entering hotels with Simone, receipts for jewelry I knew she never received, and a single screenshot of him texting Simone about the abortion. His wife was also his business partner's sister. The dominoes were positioned perfectly. Phase 4 targeted reputation. Every major player in our respective industries received a comprehensive timeline. Not emotional, not dramatic. Just facts, dates, figures. Like a quality control report showing systematic failure. I didn't ask them to choose sides. I just made sure they had data. Simone came home from her second suspended day panicking. Someone had leaked something, she didn't know what, but her boss was asking about her relationship with certain real estate brokers. That's strange, I said, pouring her wine. Why would that matter? She drank half the glass in one pull. Started crying about stress, how unfair it was, how she worked so hard. I held her while she sobbed, her phone buzzing with increasingly frantic texts from Roderick that she couldn't answer with me there. That night, she tried to initiate intimacy. First time in months. I declined, citing a headache. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. Roderick's world imploded faster. His wife threw him out and called her brother. The partnership dissolved within 48 hours. The brokerage suspended his license pending investigation. The pharmaceutical campus deal died, triggering penalty clauses worth millions. The yacht seller sued for breach of contract. His pre-spent fortune became immediate debt. He showed up at my shop again. Different energy this time. I know it was you. Know what was me? Don't play stupid. You destroyed everything. I manufacture precision components. You destroyed yourself. There's a difference. He stepped forward. I pointed to the cameras. Already have one assault recorded. Want to make it 2? He left. But not before saying, "Simone's going to leave you anyway." "Probably," I agreed. "But not with you." Update 4, The Cascade. July open with formal investigations. The SEC got involved when someone, honestly wasn't me this time, connected Roderick's trades to a broader pattern of pharmaceutical insider trading. Turns out Simone wasn't his only source. He'd built a network of corrupted compliance officers across 3 states. My documentation just lit the fuse on a much bigger bomb. Simone was suspended without pay pending investigation. She spent her days meeting with lawyers, each one more expensive than the last. Her professional network evaporated. The pharmaceutical compliance world is small and gossip travels at light speed. She went from respected auditor to radioactive liability in 3 weeks. I maintained perfect support at home. Made her lunches for her lawyer meetings. Listened to her increasingly desperate theories about who was setting her up. Even offered to take a second mortgage to pay for her defense. "You do that for me?" she asked one night. "Of course. We're married." She cried then. Real tears, not performance. Think she finally understood what she'd thrown away for Roderick, who hadn't contacted her since his world collapsed. The criminal charges came in August. 17 counts of insider trading for Roderick. 5 counts of falsifying official reports for Simone. The FBI raided our house at dawn, seized her electronics, found the burner phone she'd hidden in her car. They didn't touch my shop or equipment. My lawyer had already established complete financial separation. I stood in our driveway watching them load evidence boxes, neighbors peering through blinds. Simone in handcuffs, mascara running, looking at me with desperate confusion. "Grant, tell them. Tell them I'm not this person." "I don't know what to tell them, Simone. I only know what I see." The last part was cruel. I'll own that. But precision sometimes requires a sharp edge. Her parents posted bail. She came home to find I'd already filed for divorce, citing the insider trading as breach of fiduciary duty. Our prenup, the one she'd insisted on to protect her earning potential, had a morality clause she'd forgotten about. She got nothing except her clothes and personal items. Roderick fared worse. His wife's divorce lawyer, her brother recommended a shark, found hidden assets, offshore accounts, a whole second life of financial crime. The state charged him with commercial fraud. The IRS opened an audit going back 7 years. He lost his broker's license permanently. But the masterpiece was social destruction. Every country club, every professional association, every charity board, they all received the same comprehensive package. Not from me directly, but from concerned citizens who happened to have perfect documentation. Roderick went from commercial real estate golden boy to untouchable pariah in 6 weeks. Simone's professional death was quieter but total. Pharmaceutical compliance requires trust. Once broken, it's irreparable. She'll never work in the industry again. 20 years of education and experience, worthless. Update 5, Precision. It's September now. My shop runs better than ever. Funny thing about attempted sabotage, it shows you where you're vulnerable. I've restructured everything. New contracts, better clients, improved security. Revenue is up 40%. Turns out some of Roderick's former clients needed a reliable supplier, and my reputation for precision remains intact. Simone took a plea deal. 2 years probation, permanent loss of her auditing license, $50,000 in fines. She moved back with her parents in Wisconsin. Sent me a letter last week, 8 pages of apology, asking if we could talk. I filed it with my lawyer, unopened. Roderick got 5 years federal time, minimum security. His wife got everything in the divorce including full custody. His brother-in-law bought the remains of his real estate portfolio for pennies on the dollar. I heard he works in the prison library now, teaching literacy. Genuinely hope that brings him some peace. People ask if I'm satisfied. Wrong question. Satisfaction implies emotion. This was engineering. They introduced stress fractures into my life, so I mapped the material failure and corrected for it. They thought they were playing chess while I was playing checkers. Truth was, I wasn't playing at all. I was manufacturing an outcome. The assault video from March? Still have it. Never pressed charges. It's evidence of who Roderick really was, saved in case anyone ever questions what happened. The financial crimes, the professional violations, the personal betrayals, all documented, archived, available if history needs correcting. Some would call this revenge. I call it precision restoration. My mother used to say, "Grant, you measure everything twice, cut once, and never forget the specifications." She was talking about metalwork, But it applies to justice too. The last time I drove past Roderick's old office, there was a for lease sign. His ridiculous house is in foreclosure. The yacht he never got to sail was repossessed before delivery. Every symbol of what he thought he'd gained by destroying me, erased. Simone's LinkedIn still says pharmaceutical compliance specialist. But it hasn't been updated since June. Her last post was about maintaining integrity in regulatory frameworks. The comments section got so brutal she disabled them. I don't track them anymore. Don't need to. The machinery I built runs itself now, consequences delivering themselves with mechanical reliability. Yesterday, a new client asked if I knew Roderick. Said they'd heard he used to have connections in aerospace. I knew him, I said. But that was a different specification. They looked confused. I didn't elaborate. My shop runs 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. We're booked solid through next year. I hired 2 new machinists, both fresh from technical school, eager to learn precision. Real precision. The kind you can measure, verify, certify. The kind that doesn't betray you in your own bed, then laugh about it in text messages. The kind that doesn't show up drunk to assault you, thinking intimidation equals strength. The kind that builds rather than destroys, creates rather than corrupts. People think I exposed an affair. They don't know I let them think that. The affair was just the visible crack. What I exposed was the entire structural failure beneath, the fraud, the conspiracy, the systematic attempted destruction of everything I built. They brought fists and threats and emotional manipulation to a precision engineering problem. I brought specifications, measurements, tolerances. They lost. Not because I was angrier or more hurt or more vengeful. They lost because I was more precise. Every move calculated, every response measured, every consequence delivered exactly to specification. In my shop, we have a saying, perfect is the enemy of good, but precise is the friend of perfect. I was never perfect. But I was precise. And precision, properly applied, is its own form of justice. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.